Good morning, students. So, as already discussed in the last English online classes, we have already discussed that we have two books, and the name of the book is Honeydew and It So Happened. Honeydew and It So Happened. But first, we are going to start with Honeydew. And I have already mentioned that the first lesson you are going to get is the best Christmas present in the world. The title of the lesson is The Best Christmas Present in the World. So, this story is a beautiful incident that took place during the First World War. So, I'm sure you have heard about the First World War, right? So, this is a true incident which happened during the First World War. Okay, so let's get to our lesson. The author went to a junk shop in Bridport, UK and bought a roll top desk. As you can see here in this picture, this is a roll top desk. The desk was in bad condition, but the author thought he would be able to repair it. On Christmas Eve, he began working on it by removing the roll top and pulling out the drawers. And when he pulled out the drawers, you know what? He found a secret drawer with a small black tin box hidden inside. The box had a note tapped on it. The note instructed the finder to bury it with the owner of the desk when the time came. When the author opened it, he found an envelope. Can you see the envelope here? He found an envelope addressed to Mrs. Jim Macpherson of 12 Copper Beeches, Bridport, Dorset. The enclosed letter was dated December 26, 1914. The author read the letter. It was written by Jim Macpherson, a captain of the English army, to his wife Connie. In the letter, Jim narrated a beautiful incident that took place on Christmas Day in 1914. The English and the German armies were in their respective trenches. Suddenly, Jim saw someone from the German side waving a white flag. Can you see a white flag here? There is a man holding a white flag. He watched a few German soldiers approach to wish the English soldiers a happy Christmas. The English soldiers replied in kind. Suddenly, several unarmed German soldiers began walking, crossing the no man's land or neutral territory. Carrying the German alcohol and sausages, soldiers from both armies began shaking hands and wishing each other. Can you see the pictures here? They're shaking their hands and they're wishing each other because it is a Christmas day. A German officer named a German officer named Hans Wolf shook hands with Jean Macpherson. A German officer named Hans Wolf shook hands with Jim Macpherson. Now, they introduced themselves, they shared rum and cake and talked about their families and books. Then the soldiers played football while their officers cheered and clapped. When the food and drink was over, the two sides wished each other well and hoped the war would end soon. Then they returned to their own trenches again. Macpherson ended the letter confident that the war would end soon and he and Connie would be reunited. Now, who is Connie? Connie is the wife of Macpherson. After reading the letter, the author decided to locate Mrs. Macpherson. So, this is the author, okay? So, he decided to locate Mrs. Macpherson and return the letter. So he drove to Bridport, Dorset the next morning. He found that the house had been burned down and learned that Mrs. Macpherson was living in a nursing home. When he reached the nursing home, the matron told him that Mrs. Macpherson was in a confused state but would be happy to have visitor on Christmas Day. When the author met Mrs. Macpherson. So this is the picture of Mrs. Macpherson, and the man standing at the right side is the author. So when they met, he called her Connie and gave her the letter. See, the lady is reading the letter. Her eyes lit up when she saw the letter in her confused state. She mistook the author for Jim and thought Jim kept his promise and returned on Christmas Day. Now she said she had received the best Christmas present in the world. This is the end of the story. Now let me summarize the chapter. In this lesson, the creator Michael Morpurgo had purchased a high-class desk from a garbage shop, which was one of the mid-19th century. When he took it for re-establishing, a drawer was stuck, and he utilized his most extreme energy to haul it out, and after that, he found a letter which was composed to Connie by Mr. G. Macpherson. At that point, after he began pursuing that letter, in that he found that Mr. Macpherson was the pioneer of the England army, and he portrays that the England and Britishers were occupied with a war, and on the Christmas Day an awesome thing had happened, that is both the officers implies the Tommy and Fritz were making peace in the no keeps an eye ashore. What's more, after that, they had football as an influence of settling the contention. At that point, after at the night, they sang deities and had an incredible Christmas Day. Subsequent to pursuing the latter, the creator thought to give it back to Connie. At that point, he went to Copper Beaches and went to house number 12, which was said in the address. However, he found nobody there, just some remainings. At that point, he came to realize that Connie is in Burlington House nursing home, and he went there and gave Connie the letter, and she misconstrued that the author is her significant other, Jim Macpherson. Okay, students, let me give you a character sketch of Jim Macpherson. Jim Macpherson was the captain of his regiment during the First World War in 1914. The war was fought between Germany and Britain. He was a young and ambitious man with ethics towards his job. Earlier, he was a school teacher from Dorset in England. He had a loving wife, Connie Macpherson. Although his dismay took place as he never returned from the war and didn't write any more letters, Connie. The next one, let me give you the character sketch of the narrator. The narrator of the best Christmas present in the world is a curious and sensitive human being. The letter addressed to Connie that he finds in the roll-top decks arouses his curiosity. After reading the letter, he feels obligated to find the lady to whom the letter is addressed. He makes a special effort to locate her and visits her in an old-age home. When Connie mistakes him for her dead husband, he does not shatter her illusion. Rather, he lets her believe he is Jim so as to give some comfort and pleasure to her. The last one, let me give you the character sketch of Connie Macpherson. She is a mentally stressed wife suffering from the pain of separation. She is living in a false hope because her husband is not coming back from war. She loves her husband too much and waits for his return. She suffers from burns when a fire breaks in her house, causing severe injuries. Okay, this is the end of the lesson. Thank you so much. See you in the next class.